Oh, there I am. All right, we are now live on Facebook. Woohoo! With the Child Wellness Institute. I'm Gina Hernandez, Senior Vice President at the Child Wellness Institute, also mom of four and a therapist. And this is my partner in non-crime, not crime, partner in peace. Kali, I'm gonna
Hi,
introduce
how are you
you.
guys? Kali Harris here, early childhood specialist from EPPC, Essex Pregnancy and Parenting Connection. Make sure to follow us on Facebook.
Yes, so we are live on Facebook, but we're also, of course, you'll see we're on Zoom to make this happen. And we also have a YouTube channel, our Child Win YouTube channel. So make sure you check it out or share it. We need subscribers. We want subscribers. And every week we are continuing our Wellness Wednesday concept. So at the beginning, we used to do 12 weeks or so of some mindfulness for kids. Now we've transitioned to kind of parents and grown-ups and how can we bring some mindfulness into our own lives and stay well during this chaotic time. So last week we started a conversation about having conflict, which we know is normal. When you have kids that are not getting along, Kali shared with us the get along strategy, which I'm trying to employ myself here with my children. So we wanted to continue the conversation. Who out there has ever had any conflict in your home? Right. Right. And every single person has their own temperament. Every single person's brain is wired in their way to respond to stress or a trigger or something, right? Every single person that's out there. And one of the things we wanted to share with you today was a little bit about the different zones of how like a person, a child, let's take your kid, right, has different feelings throughout the day, throughout the minute sometimes. And if you can recognize this in your child's brain as well as yourself or your partner, significant other, it really can help calm the chaos a little bit. We were just talking beforehand about how every kid is different. Every child is different. So I wanted to share with you this, right? This is now you don't need to do all this when I feel I can do that. This is for kids, right? But I want you to pay attention to the different kind of colors that are on here. And you can get this off the Child Wellness Institute social emotional page, but you can also create this at home for free at no cost. And it works with kids as young as 3, as well as kids all the way up into middle school and high school. With middle school and high schoolers, you can just have the conversation or just explain to them how normally when you're feeling chill, you're feeling cool, right? You're down here in green, okay? Every once in a while we can get sad, right? We can get kind of worried about something. We start to go into the blue zone. We can get irritated, we can get super annoyed, and you start to feel this in your body. So a conversation that you can have with your kids is, how do you feel this in your body, right? Kids know, they start to get hot, right? Kali, I don't know if you want to share what you're talking about.
That is me. I feel myself get hot automatically. And I stay in the green blue area for a little while, but then it festers. And then by the end of the day, I'm at the red ready to explode because I spilled a glass of water or something, like just little triggers. But I sort of just rest there and fester and then have these explosions. And I'm learning to have these mini explosions are better than to have these, end of day explosions.
Absolutely. So for those of you who are out there, I want you to think about what are the things that you start to notice in your child or in yourself or in your friends or whomever that kind of signifies that your child is moving into kind of a region of their brain that's kind of going offline, like we talked about last week. So the red is the offline part. That's the time where you're not going to have a rational conversation in red. It's not. Yet that's the time you want to have a conversation, which is when you're in red. Right. So that's the issue here. Right. So if you have a child that's in red zone, that means they are completely gone. They are dysregulated. There is either throwing themselves on the floor, they're so red, they're crying, or they're being defiant. And it's like no and no and no and no. And then you're like trying to be rational. Okay. Nobody can be rational, right? It's not possible because your brain is in kind of a stuck survival mode at that time. You're protecting yourself, either your ego, you're protecting yourself in terms of the stress. And so when you're in red is not the time to have a conversation, right? About why did we do this? Maybe we should do this differently. When your child starts to come back down and they're able to have a conversation with you is when you want to have that, right? In the green, not in the red, right? So like Kali mentioned, all of ourselves are different. I'm a fester as well. I put on a face like, oh yeah, I'm green, I'm good. And then something annoys me. And then something else triggers me. And then someone makes me feel disrespected, or I feel like I'm not doing well as a parent. I'm like, I'm screwing up the whole thing, but I try to keep it going. I try to keep it going. And then one little thing will happen, right? Yeah. At the end of the day or at the end of the week. And it seems like the largest thing ever known, to man. And I'm like, why is this happening? Right. So what are you? What kind of person are you as a parent? Do you fester? Do you stay chill? Do you do mindful practices? Or are you like explosive? Right. And then how are your kids? My kids are all different. I have some who have no problem getting their feelings out at all moments. Feelings. But for the most part, she's not explosive because all day she's getting her feelings out. And then I have another one who tries to put on game face, right? Yes. And then this hurt her feelings, but she doesn't explode until the end of the day when she feels safe. And then it's like completely, melting down. And so every kid is kind of different. So part of recognizing it is really, really important. Kali, how did you learn how to recognize it in your own kids or in yourself?
So I definitely recognize it in myself. I think at a young age, I would have like this pit in the bottom of my stomach, and I tried to uncover why that pit was there, and it was because I was just holding on to all my emotions and not letting go. I think as a classroom teacher, we see it all the time, and we see different ways children express their feelings, and sort of, in a classroom or in a family situation, we sort of have to be the buffer there and sort of not let the brain go to that red point where that super meltdown was. It was super hard as a parent. I have one child who, terrible twos. She would fall out in the middle of Target and I would be so embarrassed as a parent, like, oh my God, they're gonna think like I'm not doing what I'm supposed to do. Like I had such guilt about it that I would just give in, and I'd had to learn not to give in to the tantrum and sort of look for her cues that she gave me before the tantrum started. So I sort of tried to had to navigate that so we wouldn't have those embarrassing meltdowns, but they do happen, and we just have to give ourselves permission to let it happen.
I love that. And that's true. We have to be a little less judgy, I think, too, because that's like, I think I act differently if I'm in person with my kids and they're doing something totally atrocious. And I think they think to myself, like, aren't you supposed to be some kind of like, parenting expert-ish? And I'm like, listen, like doing the best I can, and that's the hard part, is that you think people are looking at you like you can't control your children. And the truth is every child has their own way of being, and so do you, and so finding ways to stay calm as we go into the school year next year. I think that this is going to be really, really important, especially for educators and parents, right? To recognize where your child is at, but even teachers, where are you at? Yeah. Right? Because if you're entering into the day already in yellow, right? Yeah. And you have a child that's like, showing some behaviors, you're less likely to be calm and share your calm because you're not calm. Yeah. Right. So it's like, you're already kind of in this irritated mode, and then the child does an irritating behavior, and it actually escalates both sides, Yeah.
When I worked in childcare, we used to have a box when teachers came in, and these little smile emojis, and they would pick up their stick and like, pick up your smile, like, you have to leave all that stuff behind that you're walking through and come in that green zone.
Yeah. And so go ahead, Raul.
Excuse me, Gina. I just wanted to butt in real quick. Pamela states she thinks it's harder when people are co-parenting because sometimes each parent has a different approach.
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh, if you want to know who that voice is from above, that is Raul, who is our moderator. Welcome, and he helps us handle all of our technology, and monitoring. So if you want to comment down below in Facebook, feel free, like Pamela did. Pamela, you're absolutely right. Co-parenting, whether you're together with the partner or not, is really, really challenging. And you go into it like with different ways that you were raised, right? And your brains are all structured differently. So you might be a kind of person that, is trying to maintain peace and staying calm, and somebody else might be like fly off the handle, and that presents its own challenging self in situations. Absolutely, 100%. Thank you so much for sharing. And anyone else, feel free to share below, whether you're on YouTube or whether you're on Facebook. We welcome the comments and the questions as well, because it's a really interesting topic, and we feel like it's really going to be important for us to be aware of where you are at yourself to be able to create a more calm environment.
And then to also have that difficult conversation with the person that you're co-parenting with, and try to navigate where they are at, and sort of see if you can come to some compromise on how you're going to co-parent the children during, even during these times. A lot of things have arisen, with co-parenting.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, even decisions and discussions about what you can and cannot do, and going back to school and not, and some parents taking the pandemic really, this is a really serious, and we're not letting the children do anything, and then the other parent being like, what do you mean? It's no big deal. What's the thing? And then that creates this this dynamic. And to be able to have the discussions in your house, you cannot be red zone, or else it's just, I want to say one more thing. I'm going to out-talk you. No, I'm going to say one. You're not listening. You're not listening, and understanding sometimes you got to walk away, right? Bring it back down and resume. So absolutely. Thanks so much for those comments. And again, feel free to comment down below even after we're done going live, because this is an important conversation now and, throughout the journey that we have with our children. So thanks so much. Anything else you wanted to add, Kali?
No, I think that we covered a lot today, and hopefully we can continue these conversations. And if anybody has any questions or comments later, we would be happy to address them.
Yeah, absolutely. Feel free. Oh, my phone line is blowing up. People just calling and texting. Feel free to comment down below. Thank you for joining us for Wellness Wednesday again through the Child Wellness Institute, Child Win. Check out our Facebook page, check out our YouTube channel, and check out our website. We have tons of products and resources for you. And we will check in with you next week, 9:30, to have more of a discussion on Wellness Wednesday. Thanks so much.